Hey guys, here's Louie. So I want to give you guys a little update of what I am doing in the garage. I haven't done a video in a couple of days because I've been working really hard with everything else going on around at the job, at my house, and at the garage. So here I have the 1968 Firebird steering wheel that I restored. I have a video on it. I'm going to scuff it and give it a couple of coats, maybe 2 or 3 of high build primer. Here is the instrument cluster for 68 and 67 Firebird. They are the same. Okay, the cluster will hold your gauges. This is a 1968, also 67 trunk, glove box door, sorry. Here is the deluxe center cap for the steering wheel. All right, my plans is to put masking tape on it for the bird not to get messed up, or the plastic. And this is rubber. I am going to be wiping it down with lacquer thinner and also painting it red. This will be painted red. This is for your steering column to cover the bottom of it. Okay, I'm gonna scuff this, also paint it red. Glove box door, paint it red. And the steering column. Okay, this is a non-tilt steering column, 67 and 68, this being a 68 Firebird. So it's a 68 column, 67 Firebird is the same. Also, I'll be sanding this, give it a couple of coats of primer, and also painting it red. These are your corners for your rear package tray, where your rear speakers go. These are the corners. These are a little pitted. I still need to sand this, fill it in with a little filler, sand down the filler, and prime it and mount it on the rear package tray, because that whole section back there, that trim needs to be painted red also with this. My dashboard, I am also working on sanding it. What I'm gonna do is sand it with like about 220 sandpaper and shoot it with primer. Sand down the primer maybe like with 320, 400, and most likely 400, and paint that red. Okay, so I wanted to share with you guys why the blue tape is on the car, on the areas that you see that is on the car, because this is where I'm going to be applying seam sealer. All right, so where this top dashboard panel meets to the cowl and to the rest of the firewall going down, there is a seam here from factory. But if you guys watch the video from the very beginning on the build on this car, this was all chewed out, and I have to literally rebuild the whole dashboard. So I digged out that old seam sealer because it looks all cracked up and flaky. You don't want none of that. So I'm going to give it a brand new seam sealed on it, if it could be nice and strong for years to come. And right here, your drip rails, okay, on the A-pillar going down to your roof and going around the door and down to the quarter panel. This is really important when you are doing a coupe on a first gen Firebird or any other car. I just know first gen because that's what I've been doing for 20 years now. This is the way I do it. So I put tape going around here for when you go down with the seam seal, you don't make a mess down here on the quarter panel. You'll stop and it should catch any excess seam sealer. And if you see, that's how I do the tape going all around. And basically you just get your cork gun and you go straight down, and you could use your finger. A trick that I love to do, I love to have it close by as possible, is a spray bottle full of rubbing alcohol. All right, because you could spray your fingers and dilute, if you want to call it that. Just make the seam sealer, in other words, more pliable going down, and she smooths out. So I have seam sealer to do on the where the quarter panel meets the trunk gutter. I have over here to do the rear of the tail panel. The bottom I will not do. The bottom, okay, and I mean my panels came out really nice and tight when I was welding them. All right, and I'm just gonna seam seal what needs to be seam sealed. The rest I'm not. Down here originally that line does not get seam sealed. It's actually a little open like that. And of course, if you did gutters like I did gutters going all around, you need to get in here where the metal meets each other. If you put your finger in there, you can see there is space for some seam sealer there, like that water don't get in and start rusting it from the inside out. So I left this side, well, I don't know, tape for you guys to see. All right, so I'll put the tape out here from this line onto the car and stop right there and put the seam sealer. All right, so the dashboard, like I said, I've been scuffing that up. I'm not done yet. I still need to sand this part down because she's dirty from me working on the car. Remember, this was a very early repair on this car. I am happy to say that the whole car is all sanded down with 220, and I'm stopping right there. And some spots that you guys see like a green primer, that's etching primer because I hit metal. And the primer that I'm using, that I discussed on the last video, is not a direct to metal primer. So anywhere you hit metal and you are working with a non-direct to metal primer, I simply always have a can of this stuff in the garage, and I spray a little bit where the bare metal is just to protect the bare metal. And I let it dry. I might give it a little scuff with a light gray scuff pad. I don't know where I have it right now. With a little soft scuff pads, gray, and I scuff it up, and then I shoot the primer. It's always important to scuff or sand any panel, any part that you are going to apply paint to it, because you need to put a tooth on it. A tooth. So what's a tooth? A tooth on a panel is just scratches, some little beady scratches for the paint to grab. If the paint don't have that tooth to grab, she's just gonna peel right off. You think she's gonna last, she won't last. She'll peel right off. Now, very interesting. Okay, when I paint my 69 Firebird, which is almost 3 years ago, I did not take out this trim here. I explained that in the last video also. On this car I did. Okay, like I said, the more you restore these cars, the more you do it, the more attention you will pay to little things here and there, and the better you'll get. I'm a big believer in that. The more practice you do anything in life, the better you get. So on this one, I took it off, and when you take off that trim, that's the trim that holds the weathering strip for the drip rails on this side. Okay, and it's very sticky once you take it off. This one was still very sticky from factory. Okay, also the other side was very sticky. Okay, this side was also very sticky. Okay, going in here, going over here, very sticky. All right, and the tool that I used was here. So here on this air tool, you could put a cutoff wheel, you could put a grinding wheel, grinding this, sanding this, or grinding this. I happen to put a wire brush, and as she goes, she was taking off all that gooey stuff. All right, it was still very sticky, like I said. And after that, I just grabbed a shop rag, and I wiped it with lacquer thinner. She's nice and clean now. Funny thing, and I was on the phone with Jonathan this afternoon, and he tells me, man, you should have videoed that and show people. But honestly, sometimes I get so caught up in the work, and right now I am backed up with the bird. This bird's supposed to have been painted a long time ago if I never did the GTO, but it happens. Okay, when I took off that trim, that's why I want to share this with you guys. When I took off the trim, I found a surprise. This corner was chewed up and it was missing some metal, and there's no way in hell I am going to spend all my time, all my effort like I did on this bird, and I was gonna let that ride. No way. So I did the right thing. I always have metal in the garage, and I made a template. I cut it, I welded it, and I seam sealed it. Okay, because there is seam sealer here from factory. All right, trying to save the metal from water. So I did that. So she's solid as a rock again on that corner for many years to go. So this is what I am up to so far on the bird here on the 68 Firebird. All right, I took off the doors. As you guys can see, I'm working on the doors, getting the doors sand. All the body work is done. So I'm ahead of the game. All that body work is done. All right, even on the car, all my body work is done. She feels very good. I mean, I put some gloves on and I felt the whole car after I sand her today, finished sanding her, and she feels awesome. Okay, my goal is, and my plans are, because I am by myself, I don't have no buddies here. I don't have my buddy Jonathan here. He's in Indiana. I'm in Pennsylvania. I wish he was my next door neighbor. We would never come out the garage. But since I'm by myself here, and when you are by yourself, I really do feel that it's really important at all times to plan your steps ahead. Okay? Plan your steps ahead, your game plan ahead, and you will make the build more easier on yourself. Okay, so my goal, this is my plan. I'm gonna paint the dashboard, so everything's gonna get primed first. The whole car here, or shell, if you want to call it a shell, is gonna be primed. Why? Because I could get into the door jams with no door, nothing on my way. Okay, I could finish priming the dashboard. Okay, and when I'm done with that, sand the dashboard, sand the package tray in the back, paint it red, paint all the parts I showed you in the beginning of the video red. Give it at least 3 days to get nice and cured. Okay, even if I have to go longer, I don't mind, 3 or 4 days. This car is a car that drives. So once I put back the steering column in and the steering wheel, the only thing I gotta do is hook up the battery and this car turns on. I could drive it outside. Okay, let it get cured outside on the heat, on the sun. And then my next plan will be to get these panels here, the fenders, the doors, block sanded and primed with a great primer that I'm going to use, the high build. Okay, and apply it also before I put that on the car. Everything's going to be sanded down. Once I put these panels back on the car, I am going to have the white paint, the color that the car is going to be. All the door jambs will be white. Like that, when I am painting, I do not plan to open and close the door. So even the doors here at the bottom, where the hinges are, okay, all this area here that applies that when you close the door, those parts are in the car, all that will be painted white. Like that, when I am painting the car, the door is closed. I don't want to open the door for nothing. So yeah, I would just paint this area white right now on the door, let it cure, let it get nice and hard and ready to go. Put the door, close the door, and then put my fenders on, the front lower valance, the fender extensions, and spray the whole car as one. Now, the only panels I'm not gonna have on the car will be the hood, the cowl panel, and the deck lid, because I'm able to put that on the car by myself, with the exception of the hood. On a painted car, I would not have enough courage, enough cojones, as we say, to put the hood on a painted car by myself, because any slip, anything, you would damage a fresh paint job. So I might have somebody, one of my buddies, come over to help me with the hood. Believe it or not, in the past, my wife have come down to the garage and helped me with the hood. So thanks God, I will have somebody to at least help me with the hood. And this being a white color car, solid color, no pearls, no, it's not a white pearl, white metallic. It's no metallic. It's just plain simple white. Okay, and it is a 1968 Firebird white color. Okay, I actually went to the Pontiac library. You could do that on online and check out 1968 white. Okay, and I picked that color, so that's what she's gonna be, and it's just a simple white color. If you was painting anything with metallic or anything like that, you do have to paint a whole car assemble. That's a whole totally different monster there. It's like the great pumpkin that Jonathan did. I mean, the paint that he gave that car, he had no choice but to have the whole car assemble, because remember something, when you paint a car, especially with metallics and all that, the way the sun bounces off the car, and if you paint the doors away from the car, the hood, the deck lid, and all that kind of stuff, it will never match. It will look different. Okay, so that's like I said, it's a different monster. I never ever in my life painted a car with any kind of metallics in it or anything like that. It's basically a solid color. Okay, my 69 also is like a reddish wine kind of color, and it's just plain simple. That color is, there's no metallics in it. All right, and the same thing with this one with the white. But I am happy to see progress. I'm getting there. By the weekend, I should have the dashboard and the rear package tray painted red. Stay tuned to see this bird come out and be one nice solid color pretty soon. Bye bye now.